Welcome to the Art of Gardening. I'm your host, Melissa Lalo-Johnson. Today we will explore my very own yard, and I'm going to take you back to a time nearly 11 years ago when we purchased this property. The lawn was huge patches of dirt and weeds. It was overwhelming, but with simple rules for newbies that we followed every single year and learning year by year from our own mistakes, our lawn is the best it's ever been, and it's only getting better. This lawn is my canvas. It has become a large format artwork in my yard. Straight lines equal happy times is my motto. I've been mowing stripes in lawns since I was 12 years old. I always took such great pride in them. My grandfather taught me the art of perfect stripes, and I cut his 1 acre lawn weekly for years. Things really got serious when I bought my very own Skag Liberty Z with a striping kit. I have loved every minute of the peace and the tranquility that mowing offers, and I often call it going on a mowcation. My favorite part is looking at the lawn after I've mowed and seeing all of the beauty that I created. Who would have thought mowing the lawn was an art form? It sure is, and you can create the same for your property too. When you follow a proper plan, it's actually just a few simple steps that you have to take care of every single year to have a better, thicker lawn. Lawns like a carpet are the lawns that make the best stripes. The lawn has been one of the greatest and most rewarding projects that I've ever encountered in all the things that I've done. And I hope to be able to share some of our own practices and some of the mistakes that we've learned over the years to help you level up faster. So let's get started on some of the basics that are coming up for fall lawn renovation. You're going to want to gradually decrease the length of your grass by reducing 1/4 of an inch every mow until you're somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 3.5 inches at the time of aeration and overseeding. You won't be able to walk on or use heavy equipment on your new baby grasses for at least 2.5 weeks. I do my best to get to 3 weeks, and a month is truly optimal, but it's really hard when your other grasses are growing. I want to give the baby grasses as much time without trauma so they can grow as strong as possible, and it's bad enough that they have to have the daily abuse from the dogs. Every fall, we use Labor Day weekend as our marker that it's time to aerate and overseed. We like to schedule this to be done the Friday before the holiday. That way we have 3 full days to make sure that we get the seed down properly, it gets watered in, and any areas that are bare get the attention they need. For larger yards like mine, aeration is done by a large machine that has hollow tines that are plugged into the ground. The aeration happens when a 3-inch plug of soil is pulled from the ground and then tossed to a nearby spot. This opens up small holes in the ground that are perfect for catching new seed and growing essentially a mini plug that will grow and spread with time. It also allows oxygen and nutrients into the soil to improve turf root structure and helps to break up heavy soil conditions like clay. So those plugs, once they're pulled and tossed, then with regular weather patterns, they kind of disintegrate back into the ground and cover over. For our friends who have smaller yards though, and for smaller spots in your lawn that you may not want the tines going through, you can actually use a spray aerator. The downside to a machine aerator is that they can be very expensive. And here in Missouri, a yard like ours costs around $450 and up. If you have a smaller yard, you can use a spray aerator. Petra-Tool's Max Strength Lawn Aerator liquid loosens compacted soil, improves penetration and drainage, improves nutrient uptake, and increases soil oxygenation. It's infused with humic and fulvic acid, which work together in perfect harmony to bring many benefits to your lawn and garden. These acids increase the microbial life in the soil as they bind to plants and help them uptake the nutrients and water that they need. Humic acid has been proven to greatly increase yields. This is because it helps the soil absorb and hold moisture instead of the soil becoming dry and hard, where water then just runs right over the top of it. This is a really common problem in the summer months, and the humic acid will help combat that. So what you're going to want to do is just simply mix 1 ounce per gallon of water, which will cover approximately 1,250 square feet of your lawn. Be sure to spray before 10 a.m. or after 5 p.m. and cover the area evenly. After you spray, water the lawn for approximately 20 minutes and voila, your liquid aeration is underway. Reapply monthly or as needed. The next thing you're going to want to focus on is what is the proper type of grass seed for your area. So here in the Midwest, in Missouri, our preferred turf grass is a triple blend tall fescue. And occasionally we will have that mixed with Kentucky bluegrass to spread a deep dark green color. We can't only seed with Kentucky blue because it doesn't do well in intense summer heat. But if surrounded by fescue that will provide some level of shade, it tends to do well with irrigation here. If you are newly renovating a bare dirt lawn that needs a lot of help, you will want to seed tall fescue at a rate of 8 to 10 pounds for new seeding and 4 to 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet for overseeding an existing lawn. Here I use about 200 to 250 pounds of seed per year for 1 acre. So here are some tips for aeration. Make sure you water the lawn thoroughly the night before you plan to aerate. This will allow the plugs to be pulled more easily and completely from the ground. Ask your landscaper for a heavy aeration in any dirt areas. You can rent aerators, but I do not recommend that. The machines are not the same as the machines the pros use, and they bounce around a lot. They're clunky and they're very difficult to manage. Pick up sticks and debris from your lawn, and then flag any water sprinklers and flag any dog fences. Most invisible fence companies will come out to your house for a small fee and they will flag the dog fence for you, and that is much less of a cost than fixing a broken sprinkler head that got hit by the aerator. So trust me, I know that. You're going to want to flag anything that is essentially less than 3.5 inches deep in your soil. So use a spreader and spread your seed in troubled areas before aeration and then seed again after aeration. I'm not sure if this is a real thing, but like we have done that every single year on this property and clearly it works for us. So we seed before and after aeration. Seed areas around the garden beds by hand. Trust me, the bigger the spreader, the farther the seed can fly. So unless you want to be picking up 7,000 pieces of baby grasses in your beds, you are going to want to use the big spreader in the big open areas, and then use your hands or a small hand spreader around the garden beds to make sure that you keep that tight. We run the sprinkler every few hours and keep the ground moist so that the seeds can germinate. And after the first 2 weeks and up to a month, if possible, we're running the sprinklers daily. Grasses are considered mature and ready to cut when your new baby grasses are 2.5 to 3 inches long. After the first cut, you can resume your normal watering, but be careful to not overwater your baby grasses. The ground should be moist, not wet. After 7 to 10 days, baby grasses emerge. We put down a starter fertilizer to really help the grasses grow vigorously and allow the roots to dig down into the dirt before winter sets in. You also want those nice strong roots so you have proper uptake of nutrients when you apply a winter fertilizer 4 to 6 weeks after. So here at my property, we use a granular application that's applied with a spreader. However, if you have a smaller property, you can take advantage of a liquid nitrogen spray treatment. So Petra Tools has a wonderful liquid nitrogen that has an uptake that's much faster than granular fertilizer. It will quickly give an additional root stimulation and support to grow deep, healthy roots. Don't forget good practices over the winter. Use a winterizer treatment on your grass in mid to late November. Many believe this is the single most important treatment that you can give your grass, mainly because it's going to give it one last dose of carbohydrates and nutrients that will keep it strong through the winter months that can be very damaging and trying for baby grasses. Other things that you will want to take note of in winter are to stay off your grass as much as possible when it's snowing and or icy outside. If the snowplow piles snow and road debris on your grass, beware. This whole area I'm going to show you a clip of was dead in spring yearly and damaged from the actual plow piling snow, or sometimes they would even cut directly over top of the curb and scalp all the grass. We painstakingly reseeded this area every single year, and we thought it was just the curb being subject to really hot Missouri heat. And after years of watching this and observing, because other neighbors did not have the same problem, we realized it was where the snow was being piled every single year. It would melt and leave soot and small gravel and salt that would all go down into the soil. The grass only died right in this area where they plowed the snow. Now I use plastic markers for the snow plows so they don't jump the curb and mess with my grass. In spring, have a pre-emergent and spring fertilizer applied. The pre-emergent will keep weed seeds from germinating, and the fertilizer will help wake things up. You should cut your lawn in early March, or at least in the month of March. I know this seems early, but this will help pick up debris and help shred leaves and give your grass a fresh cut that signals to the grass it's time to get green. I love this time of year. It's when the grass is so new, so green. It will be the thickest it's been all year, and all the good fertilizers and care that you took to feed the grass in the fall and in the winter were truly worth it when you see a thick velvety blanket of grass take over your yard. Watch out for weed grasses that are noxious and make their way into your yard. If you see bright green patches in your lawn, check for Poa annua and Poa triv to be sure they are not spreading through your lawn. Check for common weeds that are in your area, and you can spot them in your yard and get them out. Poa annua and Poa triv are a huge problem in Missouri and lead to a browning, like an overall browning, in late June, early July. So I'm going to have a video coming up soon because we do have it here and we are getting ready to treat it golf course style. So I will have something on that soon. Mid-July is also the time for nut's edge here in the Midwest. So use a selective spray to eradicate the pesky grass. And if you can't do that, you can pull the actual root zone right up from the base of the plant. Keeping an eye on invasive grasses is one of the many things that you have to do to maintain a perfect lawn. Are you renovating your lawn this fall? Comment below with any additional renovation tips you may have. The first 5 people to leave a comment will receive a bottle of PetraTools liquid aerator and liquid nitrogen to use on your lawn to make your yearly lawn renovation a total success. Don't forget to check out the Art of Gardening podcast. We would love to have you while you're mowing or driving. It's available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And next up, I will be talking to Meg Austin from Minnesota Homestead, where we will learn about how she started her 20-acre hobby farm, complete with a fabulous veggie garden, farm-to-table favorites, sourdough starter, and more. You won't want to miss this. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please leave a little bit of love. It's so hard to get the engagement on the algorithms these days, so any amount of love counts, and we want it all. So like, comment, save, however you can engage with us. We would really appreciate that. So until next time, enjoy summer, and thanks for watching The Art of Gardening.